Okay, so I really doubt that I'm the only one that noticed, but has anyone else been noticing all of the strange and bizarre things happening in our world today? And of course, most people love to create their own conclusions and say, oh well, you know, it's just one big coincidence. Really now? Strange noises being echoed and heard all around the world, millions upon billions of animals such as fish and birds all just suddenly dropping dead in droves, unidentified objects coming in and out of our orbit, a rise in the new breed of terrorism, unexplainable weather patterns that have occurred in multiple different regions of the world, some places as remote as Africa, India, China, different parts of the world experiencing weather that they have never seen or felt before. But of course, most people are just so busy happening to follow up with what's going on with Justin Bieber rather than figure out what's going on in their own backyards. Now what I'm about to show you ought to instantly click in your head and wake your ass up to see what's really going on, because there are a lot of people that are gonna watch this and say, well, of course, if it doesn't directly affect me, why should I care? Why should I be concerned? Be the selfish, brainwashed puppet that you are. Because while you're too busy worrying about what you're going to be wearing next in the club, things are happening around you that's going to affect not only you, but your community and your family. So if you don't take action and just wake up to see what's really going on, to see what's being kept from you, you are forever going to remain in the dark, blinded by ignorance, with all of the poison being put in our skies, the chemtrails, the darium, the toxins that we're breathing in on a daily basis. Most people are still worried about going out on a weekend than trying to figure out what they can do for themselves to keep themselves healthy. See, that's the whole agenda. They brainwash you to do what they want, to do what everybody else does. That way you are kept from what's really going on, and that's what separates the weak from the strong. Ask yourself this: who are you really trying to convince? Are you really trying to convince yourself? Do you still believe that nothing's going on? All credit and dues go towards Jason A. Take a look.
And down in Roswell, Kimberly Harshy-Key captured a tornadic cloud overhead and storm clouds creeping in over the area.
There's a large sinkhole opening up in Alachua County. GTN's Haley Holloway is live in Jonesville on the scene.
Right now, this one is 40% bigger than it was just this morning, and he says it's only going to get bigger from here.
Huge sinkhole swallows a car in Evansville, Indiana. This is not what you expect to see at your local strip mall. A sinkhole opening up after extreme flooding here. So many people across this nation feeling Mother Nature's fury.
Take a look at this unbelievable scene, a massive sinkhole in Austin Peay's campus. So far it has swallowed part of the field and track of Governor's Stadium there.
From Sky 5 HD, you can see just how big the sinkhole is, swallowing a part of the northern end zone and track inside Governor's Stadium.
Overnight, skies alive from the Canadian border to the Gulf of Mexico. Almost 400 severe weather reports this week that have brought us some stunning images. Hail covering roads as far as the eye can see in North Dakota.
Look at that, dude.
That striking EF2 swirling through that RV park, injuring 9.
You must disperse immediately.
Big mystery this morning. Good morning, everyone. Residents in Harrisburg are still trying to figure out exactly what those flashing lights are. Aliens? A drone, maybe? Well, even the local police department does not have an answer.
Oh, I am scared to death now.
It's the video that's sparking rumors of extraterrestrial life.
I thought it was a plane until I realized it wasn't moving, and I watched it for about 20 minutes.
Wilkerson called 911.
Look at that, look at that, look at that!
But even police were dumbfounded.
He went there, and apparently he saw them too. So he called his sergeant and his corporal to come to verify what he was seeing.
So police called the National Guard Training Center and the local airports to find out if they could account for any aircraft activity in the area. They couldn't.
This is unbelievable.
This isn't the first UFO sighting in recent weeks. In July, this questionable object was spotted as firefighters battled a wildfire in Canada. And just 2 weeks ago, these photos were posted all over Twitter, convincing many that the illuminated round disc was something extraterrestrial. Back in Pennsylvania, Wilkerson says she's convinced these lights prove we're not alone.
This was a Good Samaritan hospital, the cafeteria here, just to show you the sheer force of these flooding waters just raced through when the doors couldn't handle it anymore. And we were seeing it all over as people were being rescued. And it's not just the East Coast, it's the West Coast too.
It's horrible. I've never seen anything like this.
Well, it looks like a storm of epic proportions. It's something we really don't see here in Alabama. But take a look at this. You're looking at a huge storm known as a haboob. That's eastern Washington state you're looking at. Now, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they can pack winds up to 60 miles an hour, and they stir up all that dust and sand.
It's ominous looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrifying look. It's like something you'd see out of a sci-fi movie.
A flash of light and a loud boom have a lot of people asking, what was that? Late last night, a massive fireball lit up Vancouver's skies. CTV's John Woodward went to find out what many people witnessed.
Something like this was spotted around 10 o'clock last night, high over Vancouver.
A greenish-coloured streak that split into two and spread across the sky, and they just completely burnt out.
Seen as far away as Vancouver Island. Many people all over the lower mainland took to Twitter to say they saw the meteor. Though it happened so fast, no one had time to pull out a camera.
I feel very fortunate to have seen what we saw. I think it was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of event.
Mexico. This crack stretches nearly 2/3 of a mile and measures close to 30 feet deep and more than 15 feet wide across in some spots. This is in the rural area 50 miles west of the city of Hermosillo in the state of Sonora. While some believe seismic activity is to blame, others point to an underground stream that eroded the ground above it. Now, this incredible video was captured by a drone.
Tropical storm Marie is churning in the Pacific. The monster storm generating incredible waves hundreds of miles away.
Marie is west of the southern tip of Baja now, throwing a big south swell up into our area in some of the highest wave conditions we've seen in years.
Hawaii braces for 2 hurricanes in the Pacific Ocean, but they first dealt with an earthquake.
The day began with a magnitude 4.5 earthquake. There were no injuries or damage, but the day will end with the first of 2 hurricanes, a rare double threat.
Extraordinary pictures which came to us from the Vatican on what was, of course, an extraordinary day. Within hours of Pope Benedict announcing that he was to resign, take a look at this. Lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica. You can see it again now in slow motion. Extraordinary. It happened just before 6 o'clock in the evening, local time.
Over the last 2,000 years, there's been 62 tetrads, but only 8 times have they occurred on the biblical holidays. And in the last 3 of those, they've had great significance for the nation of Israel.
This is the first of 4 total lunar eclipses, or blood moons, we'll see in the next year and a half.
Are they tied to biblical prophecy? Today is the first of 4 blood moon eclipses, rare occurrences that some biblical scholars say signal earth-shattering events, particularly when they happen around the Jewish high holy days.
In Genesis 1:14, God created the sun and the moon, it says, for signals on basically Passover, on his feast days, his appointed times. So for me, if that's what the Bible says, that we need to be watching when those events happen.
Another day of monster waves and dangerous rip currents on both parts of both coasts in this country. 2 powerful storms are responsible. Hurricane Cristobal in the Atlantic and Tropical Storm Marie in the Pacific.
Tonight, a state of emergency declared in the Toledo area, with more than 400,000 residents unable to drink or even boil their tap water. Panicked families lining up to get emergency supplies being trucked in from all over the state. Overnight, officials issuing an urgent notice after chemists found unacceptable levels of toxins in the water supply.
Breaking news out of Armada, where police are stopping cars, every car coming in and out of that little town.
We've got something going on here in Armada that we haven't seen before. We have FBI agents and local police that are stopping everyone coming in or out of the town right now, out of this village. They're questioning everybody coming in and out about the investigation, and they're also putting X's on everybody's hand so they can keep track of who they've talked to, who's come in and out of the town.
I've never seen anything quite like this before, and you wonder if they're just looking at driver's licenses or what, but we'll continue to follow this story.
The massive wall of water and the now deadly mudslide in Southern California, stranding thousands in just an instant.
Overnight flash flooding sending a river of mud and debris through Southern California, swallowing cars, campers, and vans.
Today, this hospital in Atlanta preparing to treat the first Ebola patient ever in the U.S. One of the 2 Americans infected with the deadly virus in Liberia now expected to head here to Emory University Hospital. Now in West Africa, where more than 700 people have already died from the virus, extra efforts are underway to stop the spread of Ebola.
Dozens of people have been killed in Eastern Europe's worst flooding in more than a century, as rising waters engulf more towns across Bosnia and Serbia.
There was no protection for some villagers hit by waves of water up to 4 metres high that swept away homes like a tsunami.
3 months' worth of rain have inundated Serbia and Bosnia in just 3 days. It's the worst flooding since records began 120 years ago.
Dangerous flooding from some very potent storms that have dumped more than a foot of rain in some parts of the East Coast. Take a look at this. That's the Southern State Parkway in Nassau County.
Beautiful. Storm chasers captured a supercell thunderstorm yesterday in Wyoming. Their time-lapse video shows the towering storm taking shape.
This is not something from a Hollywood movie, but it looks otherworldly. Check this video out from eastern Wyoming yesterday. This is what storm chasers call a mother ship, a low precipitation supercell. The rotation that you see there caused by strong winds aloft, and it's not hard to imagine how that could drop a tornado down to the ground. That is a warned supercell thunderstorm causing large hail and damaging wind.
Look at this right here. It's a massive fog bank. It almost looks like a huge wave or something because it's just sitting right there on the water. Oh my gosh. That video really tells a story, doesn't it? But it's, again, fog. This was in Lake Michigan. A man was out there fishing when he saw it, apparently getting ready to move right toward him as well. That's incredible video.
Out west, a mountain of dust rolling across the New Mexico highway, visibility falling to near zero, and 7 vehicles in a chain reaction crash.
A shocking scene as passengers on a Greyhound bus captured the burning wreckage from an 8-vehicle collision on I-10 near Lordsburg yesterday.
A major downpour like this is said to occur once every 200 years. Friday's downpour caused secondary disasters everywhere, with water levels reaching hazardous levels.
The rainfall, which has continued now for a week, has caused landslides, building collapses and floods across the region.
Since Wednesday, rainstorms in Guangdong have affected 800,000 people. Dozens of dead bees near a popular trail. She was worried.
Those bees were found on a stretch of sidewalk near the Albuquerque Academy. And while it's tough to say what killed them, one local bee expert weighs in on just how important they really are.
All of a sudden, we noticed a lot of dead and dying bees. I knew something wasn't right.
Matt Vave has studied bees for 20 years. To see so many bees turn up like this, he says it's not a good sign.
Basically, we're looking for asteroids, we being the world scientists, but we need to be looking more, and particularly these smaller asteroids, these and ones that could do Chelyabinsk or even city-sized damage.
A drive through hell, incredible video shot by 2 men from inside a car at the height of the worst fires roaring through Carlsbad, California. Take a look.
Oh my God! This whole valley was just engulfed in flames, smoke, firestorm coming our way. I was on the driver's side and I could feel the heat coming through the passenger side, and that's obviously where he was filming. The heat was just incredible.
It singed the hair on my arms a little bit.
There was only one way out. It was not going back. We have a median on our left, and you obviously saw what was going on our right.